All right, shalom, shalom, and welcome back to another lesson. I want to begin this lesson giving all praise, glory, and honor to the God of heaven and earth, Yahweh. Again, the God of heaven and earth, the one true God. All right, no idols, no false entities of creation, divine entities, the universe, none of that shit. It's not real, it's not true, it's falsehood. All right, the God of truth, the God of everything, all flesh. All right, the one true living God, and most importantly, the God of the Hebrew Israelites, which are the chosen people of the Most High God. His name is Yahweh, and his son's true name is Yahweh Shai, all right, which is also translated as Joshua, and also known as Jesus, as some say, which in the Greek is Jesus, which again goes back to the Hebrew Yahweh Shai, which is not Yeshua. All right, that's not the name of the Messiah. It's Yahweh Shai, not Yehoshua, not Yeshaya. It's Yahweh Shai. All right, so all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High Yahweh through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who is the Savior of the nation of Israel, which is the chosen nation of the Most High God, and the Gentiles spoken of in the New Testament are Israelites that were casted away and scattered and fell away from the customs of the circumcision, the law, statutes, and commandments via their forefathers that are coming back through the grace of Yahweh Shai's blood. Those are the Gentiles, not the other nations. The other nations will never, ever have a seat or part in the covenant, all right, ever. Old and new pertains to the Israelites, which is another topic I'm not going to get into, but I'm just speaking through the Spirit. I want to give peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith. Household of faith being the sincere believers of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, the truth and sincerity, believing in the truth, the true gospel, the true prophecies, the true message, and the true leaders and men set up through the Most High, which I believe to be the elder apostles of Great Millstone on down, all right, to the sincere men of Great Millstone and the likes. And man, this lesson, man, I'm just listening to this video that came up on my feed from this channel, Daniel Henschel. Everything about life sucks and it's horrible. 2 weeks ago, 239,000 views, which is a lot. So I think that a lot of people are relating to it, or they find entertainment in it, because he's going in and he's upset. And he's claiming it's satire, but there's always truth in comedy, right? That's why they say comedy, which goes back to the Spanish, which we know Spanish go back to Latin, but the word is comida. Matter of fact, let's look into that. Comedy is comida, which is food for thought. That's why the best jokes and the best comedians are those that tell, jokes based on real life scenarios, real things that people relate to, truth. So let's get comedy and see what that goes back to. Comedy, narrative with happy ending, amusement from Old French, from Latin, commodia. Yep, Greek commodia, a comedy. Yep. So Latin, a comedy, amusing spectacle. Let's look up food. Because I heard the Apostle Gabar break this down. Because he's big into the Italian, the Latin. But it's not showing anything here. But you can see the connection there with the Latin there, commedia. Comedy, comedia. All right. Again, the Spanish word is comida, which is food. But yeah, so a lot of people are relating to this, and I'm sure I ain't even looked at the comments, but I'm sure the comments are, they relating. This life isn't even satire no more. This is real life, or this isn't even satire, because again, the speaker says it's satire. Listening to this guy verbalizes the thing simmering in my subconscious is oddly satisfying. This is genuinely how I feel 99% of the time. Because the guy is making good points. And I'm doing this video because I've been in this spirit lately. Right? He's basically saying, like, the older you get, the more everything fucking costs. The more bills, the more everything is numbers. You got to pay this so you can have this. You got to pay that so you can have this. You got to pay this. And everybody has their hand out for a fee, for a cost. Hey, pay this, cover this, this. Now everywhere you go, tip. Would you like to leave a tip? Tip. And it's like, and he summarized it at the end, like, what's even the point of it all? And I want to tie that in this lesson to this was the spirit and thoughts of King Solomon. When you read his writings in the book of Ecclesiastes, he's asking, like, it's all vanity. Like, what's the point of it all? What's the point of this? I was watching a video, a movie illustration on King Solomon, and he was talking about the temple. He's like, okay, I built this nice, illustrious temple. What's the point of it all if I'm going to die anyway, and the people that come after me might not even take care of it? Or the same thing with riches. Families have riches, wealth, via real estate. Things passed down from generation to generation, and then they lose it all. Like, what's the point of it all? And it boils down to King Solomon's point about death, because what's the point of all these things if you're going to die? Which is why, in the spirit, this is why the new covenant, which pertains to Israel, pursuant to Romans the 9th chapter, to Israelites pertaining to the adoption, the covenants, the blessings, the glory. That's why with the new covenant, when it's enacted, once the Messiah comes back and changes us, we're going to have eternal life on earth as it was in the beginning, or as it was meant in the beginning. Okay? We're going to have eternal life because that's going to remove the vanity out of it all, because we're going to be upgraded into new bodies where we're able to serve the Most High in truth and sincerity 100% of the time. No more sin. So the taking away of the sin and the possibility of sin is going to remove the vanity from us. The vanity is going to be taken away because we were made what? Subject to sin. So let me get that real quick, and then we're going to continue, man. I'm just kind of going through the spirit. That might be Romans 7 I'm thinking about. Because Apostle Paul went into that. Romans 7. And let's get 7-14. It says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Verse 17, now then it is no more that I do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. So the new covenant is going to take sin away because we're going to be transformed into a new body that's incapable of the sinful works and deeds of the flesh. Verse 20, now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Romans 7:23, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind. Let's get that. New King James. Damn, I lost the verse. I think it was 7:23. Yeah, but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. So he basically saying there's I have the law in my mind, which is the righteousness, the good things, the godly things, but then I'm in the body, which has its own mind, its own desires and lust and things that it want, which this is why he said in the next chapter, he said that the body and the spirit are one against each other. They're enmity with each other, which this ties into Sirach 33 because the author in Sirach 33rd chapter is saying, look at all the works of God, and you see that they are two and two, one set against another, good and evil, up and down, left and right, in and out, black and white, right, good and bad. It's this polarity effect. So that same polarity is spilling over into even our bodies, our vessels. Okay, so it says, and bringing me into the captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. This is why we have to be transformed from these members. All right, when you go into members, I'm sure that's going to be the flesh, the body, a member, a limb, a member of the human body. Okay, of bodies, a limb, a part of the body. Yeah, so it's the flesh. So when you go to, I can tell this might be a little long, but I got to go. But I did a summary report for the book of Ecclesiastes, and the main message is, King Solomon, he's having philosophical and reflective looks on the meaning of life and the human experience, which I think is what we do as we age, as men. Those of us that have a decent working mindset. And you can look at this guy and tell he's an older guy, probably about 40. In his 40s, 50s, maybe, even in his 30s, I don't know, but you could tell. and he's having that reflective moment, like, man, shit, man, like, what's the point of all this shit, man? I didn't ask to be here. I'm here subject to all these payments and all the goddamn time. It's like, what's the point of it all? You get old and you die. You just keep working, get old and you die. What's the point of it all? And that's why, really the point of it all, as us as men of the faith, is to realize the truth and the will, like Apostle Paul said, understanding what the will of the Lord is. There's a reason why in these last days and times the gospel is here now, because the truth is here, and this is going to bring an end into the vanity and the works of the man of sin, Esau, Edom. There's a point to all of this, because we're in the end where the Most High God is going to change this earth and create a new heavens and a new earth in this lifetime. We're at that time. Revelation 21, all things made new. Verse 1, now I saw a heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. Also, there was no more sea. Is John talking about a whole new freaking planet Earth? No. He's talking about this earth, but this dominion, this rulership, this wretchedness, this goddamn filth is going to be done away with. But it's a purpose to it all. And that's how you make sense of it all for peace of mind, is by understanding the Lord's purpose. And you do this by listening and tuning in to the men that he has set up. And if you had a spirit of truth on you, you're gonna bear witness. It's gonna navigate you to who you need to get to get it. And this is what gives you comfort. This is why Apostle Paul, I'm using Paul a lot in this lesson. He was a man of the Lord. He said, comfort one another with these words. He wrote that to the Thessalonians, which were Israelites scattered in Thessalonica, which is in Greece. Comfort one another with these words, with the truth. Okay, so the main message, everything is meaningless, or vanity of vanities, a repeated phrase that captures the book's central idea. Apart from the Most High, life is fleeting, frustrating, and ultimately unsatisfying. Major themes, the futility of... Let me check, because I might have to bounce. God damn, my buzz about to be in the fucking minute. I didn't even think it was going to be here that fast. But fuck it, I'm just going to sacrifice. I got to get this lesson out. So the major themes, the futility of human endeavors. Work, pleasure, wisdom, and wealth are all pursued, but none bring lasting fulfillment. Everything is temporary and subject to death, making human effort feel pointless. And I've been in this spirit heavy lately. I'm like, man, what's the fucking point? What's the point? Starting to get to that point where I'm starting to feel the effects of aging. Knees is starting to give me trouble. And I'm somebody that's been hella proactive when it comes to my stretching, my movements, my functional training, all kind of, and it's just hitting me like, man, like, we're really in bondage being in the flesh. We're in a serious bondage, which proves that the Most High exists. That's what I'm saying, because people, well, how you know God is real? We do have free will. If we have free will, then why the hell are you here? Why are you here? Why do you die? If you have free will, you can prevent these things from occurring. You can prevent, calamities and, but people are just vain. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that. Back to Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of the Most High, and could not out of good things that are seen know him that is. You can see all this beauty in the earth. The sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, these beautiful sceneries, the harmony of nature. I stay by a wildlife little reserve. It's a bunch of ducks, there's a bunch of deers. All kind of beauty. It's a nice little trail and lake, like all of this beautiful stuff. You can see this, but then people in their mind, they can't acknowledge the creator. They can't acknowledge the work master. They just see the works because they're in vain. And the only way to snap out of vanity is by acknowledging the truth. There's only one truth. You have to acknowledge the truth to snap you out of the vanity of the human flesh and the human mind, which again, to have you like this guy, like, man, what's the point, man? But we actually have a point that we're pushing toward. We actually have the reason. I'm gonna play a little bit.
I got a call this morning from AAA. AAA is a get in an accident you're not completely fucked. So why, if I got in one accident, am I fucked anyway? Because the last time that I checked, the reason I was paying for this fucking shit, $200 a month, $300 a month, was in case anything happened, right? So then...
Yeah, and basically he got into an incident and paying all this money. And this is the thing, you pay all this money in insurance, and then when you need the shit, it don't cover you like it's supposed to. And so these are just the fucking, these are the irritants and the fucking bullshit that comes along with being alive. And that's why it's really necessary to come back to this, to run back to the truth, the sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? And I say this because I'm getting sucked and pulled away into the cares and the bullshit of this world. And I always find comfort when I come back to these videos, man. Videos like what I'm doing. Cares of this life. Luke 21:34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. Because this world wants to keep you distracted, unmotivated, unaware, unalert to anything real, anything meaningful, which is always going to be something, spiritual, something godly, something of truth, something of substance. It wants to keep you away from these things, ultimately because it's a spiritual demon, Satan, right? And to keep you away from the reality that we at the end of the fucking world, man. And the Messiah is so close, so close. I don't know when. I damn sure believe within the next 5 to 10 years, though. I do believe that. I don't know when. But if you get too distracted with the bullshit and the cares of this life, you will not be aware. You'll say, oh, man, ain't nobody coming. Because even this guy in the video made a statement. He said he don't believe in God. But he said he woke up this morning, man, and said, God, I need a fucking win, please. I just need one fucking win. And he said, I don't even believe in God. But the shit is getting so crucial out here. It's going to make people lean on something higher. It's the only way. A lot of people not, right? They're going to reject the truth. They're going to reject the Most High. They're going to become bigger atheists. But the elect are going to get closer to the Lord in this, though. Going to get closer. Because it's the Father drawing you toward him anyway through his Son. So let's go ahead and finish this up, man. The cycles of life, the themes, right? Number 2, the cycles of life. Time moves in predictable patterns. Birth and death, planting and harvesting, right? Going back to that Sirach 33 I mentioned about how the Most High's works. They have they're 2 upon 2. So there's one and there's the opposite other, right? It says humanity has little control over life seasons. Number 3, limits of wisdom. Even wisdom, though valuable, can't solve life's deepest mysteries or prevent death. Yeah. But see, the wisdom on the left hand of these modern day Chaldeans, they're trying to say that they can prevent death. You can live forever if you get this technology, get this implant, plug into this, plug into that, use this, wear that. Number 4, injustice and oppression. The author observes corruption, suffering, and unfairness in the world. Isn't that what we see today? That's why I say this book is becoming so much more relatable. The whole Bible itself, but especially works like Ecclesiastes. As I'm getting older, I'm relating with this book. Like heavy. I'm like, damn. I feel the spirit of Solomon as I meditate and read these words. It says these realities deepen the sense of frustration with life under the sun. Number 5, enjoy simple gifts. Despite life's frustrations, people are encouraged to enjoy simple blessings. Food, work, family. And even these are being corrupted and unenjoyable. The food has become unenjoyable. Work has become unenjoyable and non-existent for a lot of people. Family has become depressing, not existing. Most men don't have an incentive to have a family. Women aren't incentivized to have family. Family is just dying away. The elders are passing the traditions of family. Like they say, elders were the glue that they kept a lot of so-called black people together. They're passing away. And them traditions is going with them. They were just having a conversation on Ricky Smiley Morning Show this week about, how family reunions are dying out as the elders are passing. It says these are seen as gifts from the Most High God, even in the confusing world. Verse number 6, fear God and keep his commandments. The conclusion of the book, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 and 14, emphasizes reverence for the Most High God, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, is the ultimate source of meaning. And that's a perfect way to end this video, because that summarizes something I brought up earlier through the Spirit. So that's the only way you find meaning in this bullshit. That's the only way. Reverence for the Most High. What's reverence? Fear, respect, honor. You have to, like the scripture says, reverence the most. Let's get that. Right? Ecclesiasticus, Sirach 7 and 29, it says, fear the Lord with all thy soul and reverence his priest. What does it mean to reverence? Etymology. Reverence, honor, respect, difference, esteem, heightened by all. Reverence his priest. Why? Because these are the mediators. These are the men set up through the Most High, through his only begotten Son. There's nothing wrong with having someone that you revere. You're supposed to have, like, we not the big shots. I'm not the big shot. They're big dogs way above me. So I have to reverence his priest, reverence the men that he set up before me. The Most High deals with ranks. That's why the scriptures always say from the greatest to the least, from the least to the greatest. Again, 2 and 2, look upon the works. It's always opposites. He got higher rank. Even you have in the priesthood, you had the high priest, you had the priest, and you had the chief priest. The high priest was, the active high priest. He had the highest seat. You had the other priests, and then you had the chief priest, which were pretty much, elder priest. A former high priest. I think the law was that once you hit 50, you're not supposed to serve anymore as a high priest. So you become a chief priest. So, there's ranking, there's order, man. I pray this was a good lesson. I damn sure felt it. So, pray it was edifying, man. It probably ain't gonna get no views, but we gonna leave it up and let it do what it do, man. Go ahead and close that. Give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. On to the next one.